Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you all. And to my surprise, maybe yours, you probably noticed I don't have my glasses. So I am not able to see much at all. I'm not able to see my screen, my notes, not much of anything. But this show is very important to us. And as we mentioned, we do this every day, every morning. So the show must go on. So here it is, 7:30 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday morning. And I'm blind as a bat, but we will do our best. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you back to another rendezvous into the world of unconventional relationships. My name is Marvin Kane. I am your host. You are with us on the channel Love is Not Judgmental, and we appreciate you being here. And today we're going to dive into, really, we're going to dive into this head first. Let's just get into it. The fascinating realm of why age-gap relationships work. And this is a very important subject because many people are in age-gap relationships, and some don't even realize it. I didn't realize that in my last marriage, that me being 8 years older than my former wife, that it was an age-gap relationship. Never thought of age gap, just thought of love. And that's the other side of the balance that we always try to speak about. So, folks, buckle up because we're going to take this ride together, even without my glasses. Well, all right. Now, before we get started, one thing we would like to ask of you, 92% of the people that watch this channel are actually not subscribers to our channel. And we would like for more subscribers to come on board. So we do ask that if you're watching this, please subscribe, like, and share what you hear. So to kick things off, let's just talk about age gap relationship. Let's share some wisdom with you. As we've mentioned on this channel before, age gap relationships are not new, but they offer a unique blend of perspective. You have an older partner with their experience in life joined together with a younger partner with their excitement about life. I mean, the growth potential of all of this is just pretty amazing. And it's a dynamic that works really, really well. One of the reasons it works well is because it's interesting to both parties. Love needs to be interesting. It's never boring because when you deal with people, your peers, people you went to school with, you all cheer for the same teams. You all pretty much like the same stuff. I mean, you're individuals, of course, but in an age gap relationship, time and circumstances of the two lives that are now coming together, they're just so radically different that they're actually offering really new opportunities. And the first opportunity it offers really has to do with learning and growth. Everybody has to learn. I'm 55. I think about my relationship with my son. He's 20 years old. And as I've raised this 20-year-old young man, I remember him asking me questions along the way. Like, Pop, that's what my kids call me. He says, Pop, how does this work? And I would give him an answer. And when he was 10, that answer was fine. But now that he's 20, I have to give the details. I have to give up the details. So relationships are similar. And then I find that now he can take the lead on a lot of things. Like we work on cars together. We love to work on cars. My son and I. We don't put our cars in the shop. Something happens to our car, brand new car, doesn't even matter. We work on it. We go to YouTube. We always buy owner manuals because that's how you learn and discover things, is when you put your hands to it and you have a good time with it. Well, relationships have the same kind of mechanical mindset. Like older people, yes, they come with a wealth of experience, but they also can share a wealth of humility and listen to a different point of view from a younger person who may be able to show them another way. Because as you get older, you tend to have become comfortable in your journey. Like for me, I like vanilla ice cream. That's all I like, vanilla ice cream. A friend of mine one time introduced me to a pistachio and like a swirl. It was like ice cream with yogurt, pistachio. I would never have tried anything like this because my life is simple. Vanilla ice cream. I could put root beer soda in it, make me a float without the banana because I'm allergic to bananas, unfortunately. But I used to enjoy it with banana. But just introducing me to ice cream with a swirl of yogurt and pistachio, wow, that changed my life. So that's what I'm saying. There are always new tricks to be learned. There are always new discoveries to be made. That dynamic is pretty classic. Now, for someone on the opposite end, a younger person, they tap into the wisdom of older people. Why? Because older people have been there, done that, but not everything, not necessarily. Just because you're older doesn't mean you're all wise and all knowing. That's just ridiculous. But in the reality, in the long form of the reality, everybody benefits because everybody gets to learn and grow. Age gap relationships are basically relationships where there's a lot of personal development. And that's what's encouraged. Younger partners benefited from the accumulated knowledge of the older one. And then the older one gets to benefit from the zest, the excitement, the agility, the new way of looking at things, using new tools to accomplish more from what was done in the past. Like when I was growing up, phones were only in the house. I remember when phones were only in the house. And yeah, they would have phones like around town, like in your neighborhood, like public phones that you had to go put like 10 cents or a nickel. I remember they were a nickel. And then you put 10 cents in, and then I remember it was 15 cents, and we thought it was crazy when they went up to 25 cents a call, but it did make it convenient because you always had a quarter. But phones were basically always at home. Now, your phone is with you. So where's your home? Your home is where your heart is. It can really be a true statement like that. Your home is where your heart is. So you get to see how technology works with things you've already been doing, how technology can really make an improvement to your life. See, there are lots of benefits that go with that. And then on the side of emotional maturity, I mean, how necessary is this? Nobody has it all together. Older partners often had a better grasp of their emotions because they've been there, done that, leading to a more stable and balanced relationship. See, when you're older, you already know that this situation that you're dealing with is not the end of life. It's not the end of the world. But for a younger person who doesn't have the experience, who hasn't gotten to the other side of the problem or the situation, they get to discover that, you know what, it isn't that bad. And then they'll tell you things like, I love how calm you are. I love how peaceful you are, how kind you are, because you've already learned that the opposite of those things is an older person. They just simply don't work. They don't work. So with younger people, they get to experience it. And then you as an older person, excuse me, I still have a cold, actress analogy, they get to watch that person grow. And you know, everybody sees everybody grow. So the older person gets to watch the younger person grow. The younger person gets to watch the older person, the young, you know what I mean. Everybody gets to see each other grow. And that emotional maturity allows you to be creative in handling situations. I mean, emotional stability amongst two people, that type of a harmony. Because people, even the way that a lot of people grow up learning how to deal with emotions is based on their association. And I just realized that my mic was booming, so we're gonna cut it back. So they learn relationship strategies and health strategies and emotional strategies from the people that they participate with. So if you find yourself a good partner, you are going to be able to really tap in and learn greatly how you can benefit from, you know, their said relationship experiences, sad and good, the good and bad. But then there's other factors. The financial security aspect, well, that's a biggie. So let's talk about it. Older persons typically are understood to have an established career. They've got it going on, or they might be retired. So they have a different sense of financial stability, but not all. There are a lot of broke older people out here. There are a lot of broke older people who just don't have the tens and twenties of millions of dollars. Yeah, they may live on top of a mountain. They may have flat ground where they live. They may have no neighbors, and across from them might be the ocean. It just might be that way for them. But it doesn't necessarily, and they may have a view that looks to be about $2, $3 million view. But it doesn't necessarily mean they've got $10 million in the bank. It just doesn't seem like way. And so, with that stability, it can be defined many different ways. Like, if I went completely flat broke today, because I've learned a work ethic over the years, I would know how to recover pretty quickly. I mean, I just remember with the pandemic, it was just amazing to me all the people that lost their jobs. Because a lot of people come out of high school, they go to college, they get a job, they start a career, and they may have one job they've been on for 20 years, one job they've been on for 30 years, one job they've been on for 35, 40 years. When the pandemic came, because they only knew how to do one thing, they suffered. I mean, people who used to make fun of people for being on social services programs found themselves in food lines getting food. So financial stability is not just about, having been in your career for a period of time, because things can change. Financial stability is in the mind. It's a mindset. It's the ability to know how to make money and to keep things going. Older people have figured it out. They should have. If they haven't, you might be with the wrong person. And I'm serious when I say that. I'm not talking about a person who has money. I'm talking about a person that doesn't understand how to alternate when tough times come to play. Because if you think that pandemic was the end of it, you're going to be in for a sure surprise. So there's shared interests that must be respected within age gap relationships. So age gap relationships often find common ground. Excuse me, I'm sorry to do that in the mic, but there's a lot of common ground in age gap relationships. I mean, we just people. Okay, so if you go back like 1,000 years ago, what did they have for entertainment? I don't know. They probably went to hear the local play, or maybe somebody read some poetry or stuff like that. Today, we have so much different forms of entertainment and different ways that we can entertain ourselves. So common ground is more common today than it was 1,000 years ago. It might have been a little easier because, I mean, let's say, okay, what did people really have? I mean, did they have a VCR? No. They had some goats. They were raising farms. They were on farms. They were raising animals and stuff like that. So they may have known the techniques on how to raise animals, so to speak, and a variety of different things. Today, there's so much diversity that, I mean, you've got like they just there's so much diversity that you just have to find something in common with people. So you might be a book reader. You might like short stories. They might like short stories. You might like to go to movies. You might like a certain type of movies. You might like two different types of genres of music. Or you might just be open to beats. So you like all types of music. All of this is necessary in relationships, the common ground. Or you might be two people that work the same job, have the same kind of career. You're just at different spectrums of your career. One is 30 years in and you're like 5 or 10 years in. But yet you're still working in common, doing the same things together. One just did more of it and one has done less. And so now you're working together. That's all it really is. I mean, common ground is what it is. I've got friends that say, oh, young people and older people don't have common ground. That's the most ridiculous statement ever, because I always think about parents and children. Parents and children have age gaps, and we're not talking age gap relationships within families. But for the mature people that actually understand what we're saying, we're talking about the dynamics of having people of two different generations. I mean, we are just designed, we're people, we're designed to work well together. So we've got that in our DNA. That's the structure. That's how we were created by a creator. So we have to learn how to have these type of communications and develop our skills well, because here's the biggest thing. A lot of younger people haven't seen the benefits of talking. the benefits of having a good conversation. So they don't talk much. They're very quiet. But see, as you get older and you look back, you start to realize you really want people to understand you and how you feel and what's going on in your mind. And in order for that to happen, you need to have conversations. You need to have some good communication skills. I mean, if you do, these are the relationships, any kind of relationship will simply excel when people are open and honest about their feelings. I mean, you've got to be a talker. I mean, you don't have to talk like I do. I mean, you don't have to talk all day long, but you just need to be expressive. If you don't like vanilla ice cream, don't eat it just because they're eating it. And you can't be a yes person just because that's something your partner wants to do. You have to be open and honest enough to say, you know what? We had steak twice this week. Can we have maybe lobster or maybe some salmon? I mean, just be honest. And your partner's just going to go, okay, wow, because you know what they probably were eating the steak because they thought you liked the steak. So they were like, okay, 2 days. I mean, they really enjoyed it the last 3 times. Let me make it a third time. And they're like, oh, can we do something different? Why you don't like the steak? No, I love the steak. I just want something different today. So if I serve the steak, would you like it? I would love it and eat it up. But if you give me something different, I would love that too. I just want a variety. I want to see what else you can do. You've been with me for 10 years. You know what else I could do. Yeah, the conversation goes on. It just continues. But the bottom line is that you have to have some good communication skills. So they've had more time to develop, older people, their communication. And if you listen to them and take a page out of their playbook, then you'll start talking too. You'll start speaking their language. You'll start saying and using some of the expressions that they use, and vice versa. Because communication is contagious. If you're around somebody that talks, it may be difficult in the beginning, but as time goes on, you'll start to talk more. You start to open up more. The thing is, don't be a quitter. Just stay kind of with that relationship. If it's what you wanted, if you saw value in the person from the beginning, if you like their character, if you like the person that they are, continue to gravitate to them, because that's a beautiful thing. That level of understanding is only a gift amongst a few. So you want to be amongst the few that have a different form of balance, independence as we move on. Because just because you have an older person, this is not a brother and sister relationship where your parents say, listen to your sister, she's older than you. No, it ain't nothing like that. Listen to your brother, he's younger and older. No, it ain't nothing like that. It's about everybody being an individual. And I'm going to tell you, that's the beauty of it. You meet a woman, from the guy's standpoint. Like I marvel at some of the relationships of some of my friends. And I look at their wives and I look at them and I look at their interaction and I'm encouraged because the wives are pretty much the same people they were before they were married. They're still bubbly, they're still exciting, they still like got that little bit of aggression in them where they like see a need and they try to fulfill it, or they help out in the community, do these things. But yet I've seen other relationships where the woman has become subdued. And sometimes that happens because of the woman. And other times it can happen because of the man, maybe the pressure that he puts on her to want her to do things his way, or her lack of honesty. I've seen this on both sides. I've seen men, because their lack of honesty, not being able to say, no, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there, go to places. And while they're there, they're not enjoying themselves. So guess what? They're not enjoying themselves where they are, and means they're not also enjoying you. So you want to find places where people go, do things that people do that they enjoy, because when they are enjoying it, they're enjoying you at the same time. So that's why that balance, independence is necessary. You don't want to change people. You don't get into a relationship to change people. You can't make them taller. You can't make them shorter. But if you put them on a good diet plan, you could make them smaller. Yeah, in the physical sense that works. But you understand what we're saying. We're saying that, listen, you've got to give these relationships a chance to blossom. So be yourself. Encourage your partner to be them. Like, don't take an older person like me. I'm not a very physically active person. maybe, if I was with a younger woman and she was like an exercise guru, look, don't be telling me I need to be in a gym because that's not my thing. I'm just not a gym person. Yeah, I know it's beneficial, but I'm also a faster. So I dry fast. So should I be pushing my dry fast belief? Like you should eat food and all that. They could be suggestions, but you can't make demands. So don't make a demand and say, oh, I gotta be in the gym, and I shouldn't make a demand that says, oh, you shouldn't have food or water for a period of days. Some people will find either one of those crazy, but that's what I'm saying. It has to be a balance. So she goes to the gym. I do dry fasting, which is helping me to lose weight as we speak right now. And we're all happy because we're all independent, working together, allowing our partners to be themselves. Now, overcoming stereotypes, I mean, simply put for me, just ignore it. Just ignore the stereotype. I mean, why sit there and put up with other people's nonsense? I mean, it's not even a point to be made beyond that. Sorry, I had to cut off my ringing sensations. But age cap relationship couples are often judged a lot unfairly. And that's usually because people don't know them. I had a friend, he was worried about bringing his new girlfriend, who he eventually married, around his friends because they had already were outspoken about age gap relationships. Some people thought it was creepy, whatever. So when he brought her into the room, I loved her. I loved her immediately. I mean, because she was with my buddy, she instantly became my sister, like that. We got along. Everybody else in the room also got along with her. Getting to know her and getting to know him, getting to know them, for people who, I mean, seeing them together and, growing with them in this relationship, it actually helped people to mature their thinking. So stereotypes, just again, society is always going to do what society does. Society is rude. Society is always negligent. Society always puts out the wrong vibe. Society is always telling people how they should think and how they should feel. So if you want to have longevity and commitment within a relationship, age gap relationships, people tend to stay there. I mean, where's the older guy going to go? I mean, first of all, he ain't going nowhere. And a younger woman has been taken care of so well by an older man that's got manners and who's very genuine. Where's she going to go? Because she's not going to get that type of attention from her own peer group in many cases because her man, he's got to work two, three jobs in today's society. She's working two, three jobs in today's society. But you got an older man who's figured it out. He's working one job or he's retired, but he's stable. So that commitment, it stays there for the future. So we've talked a lot. We'll continue to talk when there's a lot of other things. We're going to have to do a part two to this, but there's a lot of other things that we want to add. So there you have it, folks. A series of compelling reasons why age gap relationships work. And it's not about the numbers. It's about the connection. It's about the love. It's about the unique experiences that two people can bring together. Remember, the heart wants what it wants, and love knows no boundaries. So I want to thank you. But before we wrap up, before we wrap up today's eye-opening discussion, don't forget to join us again tomorrow, and I will have my new glasses at 7:30 a.m. for another thrilling episode where we'll tackle on how to overcome challenges in an age gap relationship. So don't miss it. Again, like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends about our channel. We're growing every day. It's amazing. I'm excited about this. So we appreciate everything that you do for us, and we hope to continue to provide you with great information. So again, we thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. My name is Marvin Kane. This is Love is Not Judgmental, and we'll see you real soon.